Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Full Force News Burst live special reaction to MCM London classified reveals. I'm Christopher McLeod, aka Diagnostic 80, and this is brought to you by General Joe's REBORN.com. I hope everyone is doing well on this Saturday. Lots of cool stuff to get stuck into. Hello, everyone in the chat already. Penny, Will, Jeremy, Tim, Let It Roll. Paul and Action J. Hello, what's up? Hope everyone's doing well. Hello, Chris D'Amato. Yeah, I'll be checking in on your comments all the way through. As you know, you've been here before, you know what the deal is. Lots of cool stuff to get into. Yes, so Hasbro today have been showing off their new G.I. Joe bits and bobs, a couple of name owner reveals, some digital renders, some pre-orders going up in the week. Well, you know, this coming week. We'll get into all that information, everything that we know. We do know when the pre-orders are dropping, and we do know what is all dropping. But anyway, yeah, let's do it. Let's get stuck in to lots of news. Try and make that sound like Alan Partridge more and more every time. So yes, like I said, Hasbro have been at MCM London, Comic Con in London, and it is amazing. I love MCM. I love it in London. I love it in Birmingham, or wherever they have MCM. I really enjoy it. But MCM in London is an absolute assault on the senses. It's in a massive arena as well. The Excel building in London is huge. So yeah, it's massive. And I remember actually, because I used to go there a lot with Nick and Mass at In Demand Toys, and would be like like vendors there, I guess. And that it was so much fun, just getting to walk the floor before everyone, setting up and everything, and getting to see things in a little bit more of a relaxed environment. Hanging out was always fun. Going out and seeing people we haven't seen for ages, and then having dinner, and then it was just a lot of fun. And the show itself is magnificent. It's huge, and I'm quite sad that Hasbro are there, got a really good setup, and I don't ever go back there now. I think we're going to aim to try and be there next year. Actually, trying to line it up with the next year's MCM, and yeah, I'll be able to get some footage from the event hopefully next year. But anywho, big shout out to everyone who's been posting images and stuff today. So the link in the description is for Jay's Toy Collection, Jay's_Toy Collection UK on YouTube. They posted the video of the panel. That's in the link in the description. So Emily kind of did a little mini panel with Dan Who Reviews. Shout out Dan Who Reviews out there in the UK as well, and sort of like helping Emily as well in the panel. That was fun to see. And then of course what else was going to say? I've completely forgot what I was going to say. Anyway, it's called that it's there, and their little panel set up. So in that little panel, Emily dropped some name-only reveals, she dropped some digital renders, and she dropped some images for the upcoming pre-orders for both Heavy Duty and the Cobra Defense Perimeter with Trench Viper. Lots of cool stuff to get stuck into here. So let's move into it. There you go, Hasbro Pulse, and there's Emily at with the G.I. Joe booth, or the section of the booth at Hasbro. We start with name-only reveals. So this is a good one because it unlocks another few more on the listings, which we'll show you obviously at the end of the episode. But one of them was already unlocked, and that was Flint. But we are getting three of the next. Well, the next name reveals are the three next retro figures. So retro Flint, retro Televipers, and retro Covergirl, specifically blonde-haired Covergirl from the Mass Device. Now, what is interesting with that for me is that we have this Hunt for the Mass Device thing happening, and we've got a blonde-haired Covergirl included in this retro lineup. So I have a feeling, that even though they might not have Mass Device on them, you're going to get figures that complement that particular what's the word, that complement that particular theme. So even if we just get like 3 items that contain the mass elements, you're still going to get figures dotted in and around the waves in 2025 that'll probably be very heavily very heavily lean towards the mass device. But anyway, very cool. So yeah, so a retro Flint apparently is going to be a new kind of retro build on him. So he's going to have a bit more. He's going to look more. He's in the same kind of vein as Beachhead. His change, you're going to get the same thing happen with Flint. So you're going to get a new figure, effectively, new head sculpt, some unique elements like the bullet secondaries, I imagine, as well. So we're definitely going to get a retro Flint. We're getting retro Televipers. I don't know how that is going to pan out necessarily. Are they going to do the sleeveless? And if so, is that just going to be a, just the one head, the one skin tone? Not sure actually about that. I imagine it's going to they're going to have to do something, I think, with the sleeves, aren't they? They're going to have the sleeveless. So maybe it is either just a white or a dark, another skin tone. I don't know. We'll have to find out on that one as and when it happens. But again, another retro carded troop builder, and one that I think people have been asking for, and this is one that I like because again, I think they can make some changes. They've already got the retro accessories, so that's not a big deal. We're still going to get the same things that the figure with the trouble bubble came with. So that's all well and good, but I do expect to see some other elements change. Maybe just brightening up the deco to make it a little bit more classic. I don't know. The first Televiper, I'm looking at it now, is quite dark. In terms of the colors, definitely muted in the lilac and blue and the purple, whatever. But either way, more Televipers, and I think people will like this because it's an opportunity to army build Televipers without having to also army build trouble bubbles at a high price as well, even when they were coming out a bit cheaper and on sale and what have you. But there you go, Televipers, and of course retro Cover Girl, which I am assuming will be fairly like the one we already have, with just the head maybe different. I don't know, actually. I mean, she's pretty much there, honestly. Maybe the deco as well, like a green deco on the jacket and the pants. But that, which again would be kind of cool too. But yeah, I imagine obviously the blonde hair is going to be the main feature in the head sculpt on this one. So I think that's a really cool one to do for Cover Girl because, again, I like having the options with Cover Girl. I like having the blonde and the brunette versions. Very cool. So that's awesome. Hopefully words on visor, says Jeremy. That would be cool for the Televiper. Just got in. Is that Royal Guards behind heavy duty, Jeffrey? No, they're Night Creepers. I have to get the retro Flint, says Just Under. Yeah, big time. White says, one of my biggest complaints with the retro line is they keep jumping all over the place. Jay was very toy accurate. Destro was much more cartoon accurate with his eyebrows. Yeah, I think with the retro line, it has moved all over the place from the beginning of the retro 6-inch kind of carded figures. And I know I'm enjoying what they're putting out there. And again, it's a good way to get Cover Girl. It's a good way to do Cover Girl, and also it makes sense to put her in some sort of retro packaging, even if it is a Sunbow nod. To me, kind of like it makes a bit of sense. That's a nice place. It kind of makes sense for her to go into that kind of area. Otherwise, maybe a Wolverine release would have been some way to get a blonde Cover Girl in there. But I think this makes sense. I think this works. Personally, and also I'm kind of not that fussed what comes out in the retro series, as long as it's some like reason behind it, like it's to redo the figure to make it more vintage like the original figure, or make it more like some other version of the character that what we have doesn't quite cover it already. Is fine by me. And of course, like getting the opportunity to troop build within this kind of arena of price point is just a little bit more appealing, isn't it? And it's a little bit easier for people. if you can get hold of them, that is. Had to get another display case for all these amazing figures, says Action J. Not surprised. How crazy would collectors go if they did 3 production runs with Televipers in different skin tones, like random pack-ins, so you'll never know which one you'll get? I don't think they'll ever do that, Bad Wolf Media. If they're going to do a different skin tone, they'll have it in package. You never know. Then this might be a bit of a stretch, and I don't think they would do this because obviously it's slightly, you have to boil and pop the arms off. But maybe some sort of like, arm change sort of scenario. But I don't know if it's worth bothering to do that. You might as well just do either one skin tone option, or you do 2, but you kind of have to play it a little bit loose with the arms. Therefore, pretty much the figure we already have just redecoed. But I don't know. It's a difficult one, isn't it? A difficult one. And I don't really care what skin tone we would get, to be honest, if it was a choice. It's interesting that they show different uniform colors. Is it? What are we talking about? I'm not sure what that means. You mean for CoverGirl? Yeah, like almost like a brownie kind of green. I think it's just the angle of the image, but I would imagine I would like them to do a little bit of green on I think that'd be kind of cool. I hope the Televiper has a more neutral face, not the sneer. They could completely redo their face. They could, yeah. Oh, that gridiron trouble bobble legs are amazing. I love CoverGirl's head sculpt, so I hope it's just new hair. Might possibly be, actually. The retro line is very incoherent. It is Venom. But I also, again, I would say, like, there have been some outstanding wins and there have been some serious sort of like missteps. I think personally, for me, in the kind of new era of retro, I think Stalker's been amazing. Duke, Scarlet, Recondo, all wins. The only issues I had so far, I mean, the Eel made sense because it was, reissuing a figure that not many people had. After, well, I mean, a lot of people missed out on because it sold out instantly. But the Snow Serpent for me was the biggest loss. Not putting the Snow Serpent gear in there was a big kind of no for me. But and the Trooper was an odd choice for me too. Like, I wasn't massively keen of it. Cobra Commander, great. Beachhead, fantastic. Stalker, phenomenal. But when it comes to the Trooper, I don't know if it's not vintage enough. It's not really, and I think, like, so for me, Snow Serpent, Trooper are the only kind of like low points in the new version of the retro carded series. So I'm happy with it so far, personally. Loads of comments. Sorry, guys. We'll get to. I'll try and get to all of them. Will I? I think Storm Shadow was the only misstep. Lawrence, it's funny you should say that. A lot of people were really into that Storm Shadow, but he wasn't part of the. So that Storm Shadow wasn't part of the new wave of retro. So Storm Shadow was old school in that kind of period of retro that was just all over the place. Yay to that CG. Been waiting for her forever. Or CoverGirl. Sepsoys, yep. Trooper is not good. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the Trooper. Also, yay to easy access to Televipers. Indeed, yeah. The issue for me with the retro line is when they re-release an identical figure, and oftentimes with less kit. Yes, Russell. Storm Shadow was an example. Yeah, he was. I was never able to get the original Troopers, so the retro was perfect to me. But that's just my take for my collection. Again, it's gonna appeal to some people, absolutely, and for those of people that have been struggling to get Troopers or Infantry or Cobra Island versions, fine, it's all good. What I'm saying, though, is that I definitely think if they were going to do a retro version, do a new one like they've done with the Viper. There's a lot of new on the Viper, and I think they've done really well with that. That's another good point, actually. Yeah, of course. So there's more. Obviously, Dr. Mindbender, I think, is a good shout because as a deluxe figure, a lot of people missed out on him. and getting the sigil on the cape, beautiful, fantastic. And if you got the exclusive, you got all the other bits that you can play with as well, so it's fine. Rock and Roll, another win. I think he looks great. And yeah, the Viper. So they're doing. I think it's been pretty solid in the new era of retro. I'll call it post HasLab Cobra Commander, because he was sort of the start of the new era of retro figures, in my opinion. Snake Eyes and Crimson Guard kind of brought the first phase of retro to a close. Tac says, I was there, Chris, in person, and saw Emily and Dan who reveal these. Brilliant, awesome. So I posted the video earlier, and I've got it in the link in the description. So you were there watching that as it happened. Brilliant, Tac. I'm happy for you. Anyway, anywho, that's just the name only reveals. And we've talked about 20 minutes about the retro series. Unbelievable. How do we manage it? How do we manage it? Cheers. Sorry, just a bit of Lucasade energy. Right then, let's move on to the next phase of what was shown off, and that is render reveals. Yes, we got some absolute beauties, and of course, since the images I posted earlier, the great Tonino has posted nice, beautiful, clear images of Blowtorch and the other one, which we'll get onto in a second. But let's have a look at Blowtorch. Now, for me, it's sort of what I was expecting, but that isn't a bad thing. That's like it's kind of everything I was hoping it would be. Obviously, we saw the legs kind of leak out there, didn't we? In the what do you call it? In like the kind of like in a leak, should we say? Prototypes is the word I'm looking for. And obviously, we don't get. Obviously, there was a lot of talk about possibly that SCBA tank being utilized for him. That clearly isn't the case. So we've got a flamethrower and the double tank backpack with obviously the hose to connect flamethrower to the backpack, pistol, flame effects, and the removable helmet and kind of like mask as well. Oh yeah, it's removable. You can see it's removable. I mean, it's their reuse, aren't they? Pretty sure they're reuse parts, and those are removable. So yeah, it's 100% removable. Like let's not go crazy. That is 100% removable. They obviously wanted to show the figure in full on the render, as opposed to the helmet off sort of vibe. They've kind of been like playing around with that a little bit with renders. Sometimes we get, well, that's the other thing. Sometimes we get alternate heads. This one probably doesn't come with an alternate head, so it's probably inside. Obviously it's inside, so we haven't seen what it looks like yet. But have no fear. I'm sure we will see what Blowtorch looks like sooner rather than later. Now this figure will technically be up for kind of pre-order and everything in early 2025. So it would be the first 4 figures, standard retail wave of 4 figures that they do an event on, which is usually in like February, isn't it? February, March, usually in February around G.I. Joe Day. So I imagine we'll see Blowtorch early 2025. It's what, October, November, December, January. It's like 4 months away. We'll see this in full in 4 months, no doubt about that. I just love the design. I love the fact that obviously the legs are unique parts, the arms are unique, the secondary is obviously unique. It kind of feels like the body might be underneath as well, but the secondary might also be the collar. The collar might be attached to the secondary, which I think it is. But so it's probably like the torso is probably reused, but there's a lot of new stuff on this Blowtorch, and I'm here for it. The hose is from the Mole Rat. Too bad for head articulation. Yeah. Does the backpack match the leaked photos from weeks ago? That wasn't what we got leaked. What was leaked was the Legacy firefighter SCBA tank. This is completely different. So they're not reutilizing anything from that firefighter, which is good. Blowtorch will be reused on the Firefighter most likely. What we talk? We've seen the Firefighter board with figures. There's no reuse on the 2 figures, is there? Unless you're talking about the body, the torso, because the legs are unique, the arms are unique, the secondaries are unique. It's Snow Job on the Legacy Flame Firefighter. Anyway, also glad they didn't do what they did with Torch and have the flamethrower be permanently on. Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. But yeah, there you go. That's again, like there is reuse in there, but we're talking like the flame effects from Torch, the hose, which I think I've seen it about 1 million times, but I can't. Is it Tripwire? I think the Tripwire's hose, and then of course the flamethrower itself is unique, and the backpack is unique. So there's a lot of new stuff with this Blowtorch. I think it looks great. What are the silver circles supposed to be? Heat reflectors? Well, I just assumed they were Centurion ports so that you could power extreme. That's what I thought they were back in the day. But no, I don't. I'm sure there's some sort of narrative going on with what they want these to be now. But just design, innit, at the end of the day. Anyway, so that is Blowtorch. It looks very cool. And a lot of people were waiting for this sort of reveal visually anyway. Obviously, we've had the reveal. Also, I hope you noticed that it's removable, Sam. Yeah, I'm sure it is. The background of the renders, I don't think a flamethrower would use an SBA. Yeah, I know. I'm talking about the Firefighter had the SCBA. I'm saying they're 2 different things. What are people getting confused with here? The Firefighter comes with an SCBA, which was leaked months ago. This backpack is his flamethrower tank that has his fuel, but hasn't been leaked. We haven't seen that yet. So it's not the same thing. They're 2 very different things. We just thought that maybe one would use the other one sort of thing, but that wasn't the case, which is good. In my opinion, I'm glad that we're not getting something constantly reused, if you know what I mean. Anyway, Blowtorch, very cool. And yeah, I'm loving this. I'm loving what they've done with it. And the Centurion parts are still there, so that's great. So with that said and done, let's move into Frag Viper. And I was just saying the backgrounds of these renders have changed, so that causes all sorts of issues with my visuals. Thanks, Tony. Just kidding. But yeah, the Frag Viper, this to me is an absolute sensational win. I love the new elements on this guy. So again, there's a lot of really cool stuff with this one. We've got the new backpack. We've got that sash. I'm so glad they did the sash. So glad. There's also a bit of bulk to the figure because, yeah, I think that it's using a little bit of rock and roll, isn't it? Like the legs for sure. But yeah, it's just perfect. I think the head sculpt is incredible. The deco's on point. I love all the brakes. I love the kind of new sort of brakes they've got on this one as well. The left arm sort of like there's a different secondary thing on the left forearm, which I really like as well, to kind of bit of asymmetry going on. I love the fact we've got little kind of Uzis or little submachine guns that can slot into the holsters in his thigh. I love the extra strapping he's got underneath the sash. I love the fact there's more going on, kind of like a little bit more tactical, a little bit more geared up. It's actually a freaking unbelievable upgrade. An update, I should say. A bit of both, really. And I love the fact that the knees, there's a little break on the legs with the knees as well. Like I don't know, I just like the fact there's a little bit of break in there. You get like a little, like a darker brown underneath the arms and going onto the wrists. It's just really cool. I love it. And of course, the High Cesta is really awesome. That's really, and again, 2 tones. So you've got like the black kind of base, which of the Cesta, which you put the arm in, and then you've got like a silver sort of like curvature part where the grenade will, be thrown out of. And then you've got a grenade throwing effect piece as well, which is cool as. Like, I love that. I'm actually surprised there aren't any more little grenades with him. because I think that would have been kind of cool too. Just give him a few little removable grenades on the backpack, maybe. I don't know. I don't think they are, but that would have been a nice touch, I think. And of course, the connector piece from the it's not even a hose or a cable, it's like ammunition almost. It's a tube, effectively, isn't it? That connects from the cesta to the backpack. Although I would say, and the hose, of course, on the helmet too, that goes round onto the shoulder. But I would say I'm intrigued as to the design of the what would effectively be the grenade tube going from the backpack to the cesta, because I feel like that should be the same size as a grenade. So, but it looks kind of different. It looks like it's, you know, like it's thin, and it almost looks like an ammo belt. So I'll be interesting to see how. Yeah, Scott says, how do grenades that big feed through a tube that narrow? It sends the parts down and it builds it in that box, and then it pops it out at the end. I do not know, but I'll have to see what the deal is with that, because yeah, that's interesting. Chucky Tinderbin says Worms Commander. There's definitely a possibility there for some sort of reuse, I think. But are you just saying that because of the color? Anyway, yes, don't overthink it. It's Cobra. It just works. Exactly, Toy Bounty Hunter. Mass displacement tech is how they feed the grenades. Yeah, there you go. Dark energy on that use again. Yeah, Mac 10 Uzis. Very cool, aren't they? Dan Who Reviews. Hello. Yes, you were there, Dan. I'm so jealous. And I'm really jealous you got to get involved in the panel as well. That's awesome, dude. Hope you're doing well. Thank you very much for the comment, dude. Really appreciate it. And great job today. It was fun watching you and Emily chat about the stuff. Yeah, great job. Awesome stuff. Jeremy says, I think it's a thick tube with holes via a thin tube with things sticking out. That makes sense. So you can almost see the grenade coming through that. Yeah, that makes sense, Jeremy. I think you've got it there. I think you've got it. It's like the tube, but it's had parts of the tube cut out to create that effect. So you see the grenade coming through. That is actually, I think you've got it spot on there. We'll obviously have to see when we get more images of it, but that's really cool. That's really awesome. And I've got to say, I love that grenade throwing effect as well, which I can see there's a tab on the end of it, which obviously clips into the curvature, I guess, of that curve, which probably has a little hole in it too. So you can clip it in and it looks like he's lugging a grenade. Brilliant stuff. Brilliant stuff. Yeah. Okay, cool. Nice one. So that is the Frag Viper. Really excited for this one. This was a real highlight for me. I absolutely adore this figure. Are those Shockwaves guns? Could be, Scott. There's got to be some reuse in this one, hasn't there? I mean, obviously Rock and Roll's legs, but and I'm sure some element of the torso and arms and stuff. I'm just terrible at isolating that. Flaming Moth, anyone? Jeremy, that's a good shout for repaints, definitely. And I did a video of this ages ago called Let's Talk Classified Frag Viper, where I talked about what we could see with the Frag Viper. So go back and watch that just to see if it's like if I've got anywhere near what I thought we were going to see. Probably not. I can't even remember what I said. Probably just it's going to look something like the original vintage figure is what I think I said. Latal is in play too. Steps Toys, indeed. Shockwave sidearms, but the holsters are different. Cool. Thank you, Liquid Identity, for a bit more information on that. Is the helmet removable? Not on the Frag Viper. It's a head sculpt. Right. Let's go. If you're talking about the Frag Viper, it's a head sculpt. If you're talking about Blowtorch, it's a removable helmet and mask. Any pre-orders today, tomorrow, Niximus Prime? Pre-orders are the 29th. 29th. So that's Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern. Right, and the pre-orders are for Heavy Duty and the Cobra Defense Perimeter. Right, then this was popped up very quickly on the panel, but Emily did go into a bit more detail and explained that Nemesis Immortal, more information will be coming out on 10/27. So 10/27, which is tomorrow, when I'll be doing a reaction to that as well, of course. That I'm not sure when that, I've completely forgotten what time that kicks off. Anyway, we'll be getting a link for those that have RSVP'd to the emails. And for those that are saying, I didn't get the email, it was in a standard email, as in a regular, like, what have we got going on today with Hasbro polls and this, that, and the other. It was literally at the bottom of one of those emails. Scott says noon EST. Thank you, Scott. So it's noon 10:27, which is good because that gives me a bit of time to prepare the show and then do a reaction to it later on in the evening. I'm going to go double duty again tomorrow with Patreon and the reaction to 10:27. Awesome stuff. Is Nemesis Immortal wearing the Firefighter SCBA tank? Get out, Chucky Tinderbin. So yeah, and Nemesis Immortal, more information tomorrow, 10:27. Will there be a pre-order? Will there be an explanation as to when he's coming out? More than likely. I would expect maybe a bit of like a, they'll be showing this figure off, looking at it, going through the, the chat with it, and then that'll be Emily and Lenny pre-recorded because Emily's in London, of course. But I imagine that they'll kind of do like a little video of them unboxing it or showing it off, and then we'll get information for the pre-order. But yeah, haven't heard of a pre-order for this yet, like listings wise. So information to come tomorrow. Okay, coolsies. Then we got this beauty of an image. Yes, heavy duty promo image. Or this is the render. This is the back of the box render image for heavy duty, as was that Nemesis Immortal image, by the way. A lot of people have been saying, is that the Toxo Viper version 2? Is that the Range Viper? Is that a bunch of whatever? It's Night Creepers. This is Deke era heavy duty. It's a couple of Night Creepers. A few people are saying, but you can see that, is that the Frag Viper? Because you can see the kind of, no, that's just the crossbow that he's holding that's kind of curved in that way. But yeah, that is effectively two cheeky Night Creepers trying to take out heavy duty, who might have the advantage firepower wise, but he certainly doesn't have the advantage stealth wise, which is what the Night Creepers are hoping they have there. Is Nemesis going to be a Pulse exclusive? I believe it is Pulse exclusive. Is it Pulse exclusive? No, he's just a regular. No, it'll be regular everywhere, sort of available. All of the different options basically for Nemesis. I don't think there's any exclusivity to Nemesis at all. I don't even think it's a Fanmazon thing. I think it is literally wherever good toys are sold scenario. I think anyway. We'll get to the listing in a little while, and I'll correct myself on that one if I need to. But yeah, looks so good geared up, doesn't he? This is a brilliant figure. I sort of like how you can just make out the desk as well. It still rocks, man. Like this is such a cool upgrade for heavy duty. I think he looks phenomenal, and I'm really excited to see what we get. We have file cards again, so they know that we want more file cards, and we get more file cards. Primary specialty, laser weapon system operator. Secondary specialty, indirect fire infantry. Chicago, Illinois is his birthplace. A classical guitarist in his spare time, heavy duty sees little difference between playing Bach's two-part invention in D minor and operating his man-portable heavy weapon system. Hilarious. They both require right and left-hand independence, exceptional hand-eye coordination, and the ability to concentrate simultaneously on two or more complex operations. To him, playing Bach correctly and hitting a distant, fast-moving target are two sides of the same coin. It also represents his cultural refinement. While an expert in all kinds of heavy artillery, Heavy Duty has been known to create his own weapons when nothing else in the armory is exactly what he needs. Man Portable was my nickname in college, says Ryan there. Genius. Seeing this makes me wonder what they're going to do with Fast Draw, says Toy Bounty Hunter. Good shout. I would imagine Fast Draw you could get away with doing very similar to his vintage figure because it's kind of crazy updated and practical enough because it's just, the backpack with the two missile things that drop down in it. So I think I think if they do Fast Draw, or let's just say when they do Fast Draw, because that has to happen, doesn't it? I think we're going to get something pretty close to what the original looked like, which is great. I mean, looks phenomenal. Are there retroactively making file cards to 00? I don't know. Not sure. I just like the fact we're getting more and more file cards now. What is that first icon? Scott. Oh, you. It does look a little bit naughty. But like, oh yeah, it might just be the terrible image we've got on that one, but it's as good as we could get. But yeah, that's the heavy duty file card. Now, heavy duty will be available for pre-order on Tuesday, the 29th at 1 p.m. Eastern. Okay, and heavy duty is a read like all people, all retail. It's not an exclusive in any way. Okay, cool. Then I've got the Trench Viper file card here as well, because we're going to get into the Trench Viper and Cobra Cobra Defense Perimeter. So the Trench Viper's file card is pretty cool. It says primary specialty, defensive fighting position. Interesting. Secondary specialty, security. Birthplace, various countries, obviously. Defensive counterparts to their brethren, the Alley Vipers, who spearhead urban invasions. Trench Vipers quickly assemble their modular fortifications and bunker down like snakes in a hole. Sorry, it's because it's poor image. My apologies. Tasked with defending their battlefield position regardless of the cost, harsh, Trench Vipers excel at holding the line with the most meager resources at their disposal. Trench Vipers quickly learn how to protect themselves from both an advancing enemy as well as occasional friendly fire. Harsh. You wouldn't think a couple of walls and some sandbags would do much to stave off a full-fledged enemy assault, but when the dust of combat settles, more often than not, the Trench Vipers come crawling out and brush themselves off. That's really fun. I like that. This is a Pulse exclusive, by the way. What do you call it? The Cobra Defense Perimeter and the Trench Viper is a Pulse exclusive. So this one will be on Pulse and heavy duty will be available everywhere. But there you go. I like when they do new stuff with the line. I like this new file card information as well. Kind of breathes a little, breathes a little life into the line again. So that's really cool. I mean, Pulse exclusive isn't a bad thing. I find it really, really easy when it's Pulse exclusive. I think the cover girl, if it's like Sunbow, her jacket doesn't have fur collar. It's green jacket and pants, tan shirt. She had a dog. She had a dog. You mean Timber? That wasn't her dog. That was Timber. Are those file cards on the G.I. Joe website, Chris? No, I don't know. There isn't a G.I. Joe website anymore. There's just the Hasbro toy kind of website, which has a G.I. Joe section, but there isn't a G.I. Joe website anymore. Anyway, yeah. So Trench Viper, very cool. There he is, with his all geared up, with his. It's actually interesting. Some of these images, you can see a lot of texture on the outside of the defensive perimeter box, which is kind of cool. So yeah. Anyway, I like, obviously, as one thing, cool. That'll fit in a display. It'll fit on some sort of shelf or what have you. Cool, but you can also do crazy cool things with it. I like the backlight on this, so it kind of really shows up. And like I love how they've got a light coming out of the obviously not going to happen halogen light that comes with it, but it doesn't actually have light come out of it. Price wise, I'd imagine this is $54.99, honestly, with the sandbags and all the other bits you get with it too. But yeah, as you scroll through some of these images, we start seeing some cool stuff. Now, interior wise, gun rack, which is pretty damn cool. I don't think Timber was introduced until later. No, that's Timber with Cover Girl that you're thinking of in the cartoon, because they bring the mass Snake Eyes and Timber, and who else was with him? They bring the mass element back to the HQ, and then it was booby trapped, wasn't it? So it starts like taking everyone out in the HQ. So she drives it outside and throws it out, and there she is with Timber outside, because Timber's the one that helps save the day. If that's what you're thinking of. But anywho, nice gun rack. The cool thing about this is you could get a couple of these, and then you could have all of your friggin' extra accessories dealt with, because this has been one of the things I've been thinking of recently for my display. I wanted to create, either get one of those kind of like cool 1/12 scale gun racks that you see on like Gridiron do them. I've seen some on Amazon as well. But then like this gives you the opportunity to sort of have a few gun racks if you get like, you know, 2 or 3 of these, and you can sort of utilize that as the storage for all of those extra accessories and stuff. So I think that's kind of like pretty cool, honestly. And they're definitely pushing us to order more than one of these, aren't they? I mean, let's face it. I think people, Childish Landino gonna need at least 2. I think the same on that one. Here's a shot of sort of like a different kind of display or layout. Now you can basically, the whole thing comes apart, so you can create like different displays. So you can have the walls connect to each other, like as you can see behind, which is kind of interesting. I quite like that as an idea. And then, you know, the sandbags are really cool as well. They're going to create some really good Dio kind of, you know, like building and what have you. I like that a lot. And then, of course, you have this kind of craziness. So mad stacks of perimeters, defense perimeters, and you can create some amazing stuff here. So there was another image I think they showed, might be next actually, of this from the back. So you could see this was like they took a picture while they were building the display for the photo, and look at all the how you can get those ladders involved as well. I think that's really cool. I think that's really dope. So yeah, you can take walls out and you can kind of like connect them side to side. You can connect them top to bottom. You can do some pretty crazy builds with this stuff, and you can also have some of them, like some of the walls, sort of just like, like spread out, like connected to each other. I don't know. I think this is going to be a very interesting, very interesting kind of like thing that happens with Classified now, because we're obviously going to get a green one of these, are we not? Yeah, probably. But we might get some cool stuff. Yeah, it does look a bit prison-like, doesn't it? 10 is like $540. It would be, Chris. Yeah, it'd be massive. It'd be a lot of money. I think a lot of people are going to get multiples though. I think people are just going to go nuts on these. Would have rather had a new Road Toad, says Zoran. Amazing. It would be funny if they do a green one, or no green one, a Joe one, and it's painted like a box and is just like Coastal Defender all over again. So 3 walls, floor, ceiling, and 2 ladders. Is that right? Does it have a back? I don't know. Well, we don't know yet. All the information will be available come Tuesday when all the images come out and everything. But yeah, maybe the back is missing. For some reason, I thought it was a complete closed thing. But anyway, there you go. So that is that. Like I said, Tuesday, October 29th, will be at least heavy duty going up on Hasbro, on Entertainment Earth's drop zone. But because the Cobra Defense Perimeter is a Pulse exclusive, they obviously didn't include that in this. But that will also be going up on Tuesday on Hasbro Pulse. I imagine at the same time, 1 p.m. In fact, I'm pretty sure it is the same time. That's 1 p.m. Eastern, I should say. Right then. That is everything I think we needed to cover. Was there anything else in there? I can't remember now. So yeah, Nemesis Immortal is just a standard release, no exclusivity there. But we will find out more about that 10/27 tomorrow for 10/27, and that is at noon. So I'm excited to see that one. And then Bosch, we've unlocked a few more listings. It's looking a little bit more yellow on there now, which is kind of cool. So we haven't had the pre-orders go up yet, so that's why heavy duty and the Cobra defensive perimeter is still yellow, but they will be green by Tuesday, as will, no, that's it, isn't it? Yeah, but we have unlocked Televiper and Covergirl on the retro classified list down the bottom right there as well. So Televiper is retro AN Good Feathers G0958, and retro AN Mindy is Covergirl G0960. We've already revealed Flint, so there you go. Coolsies. Maybe Nemesis Immortal will be an in-stock order instead of a pre-order. Good point, Tim. That is a high possibility, isn't it? High possibility. Did someone mention when the claw is going up for order? No, because no information for the claw is available yet. Board with Figures. The claw is the sort of like the Nemesis Immortal of 2025. They reveal it, they show it off, and then you don't hear anything about it until the next year. I imagine either between now and the end of the year, right, some sort of like random drop for the claw, or going into next year for that first event of the year next year. That's what I expect. We don't know, but that's my expectation. One of two of those options. But no, there's no official information regarding the claw as yet. Hope that helps. No love for Mainframe or Scoop, not yet anyway. But you got to hold on to some solid characters like that, and I think Mainframe and Scoop would both be absolute bangers, kind of the same level of like Dial Tone in the last wave that they revealed, last 4-figure wave they revealed. Should we be on the lookout for 2026 listings yet? Well, we'll be on the lookout and we'll tell you if any come through, Steps Toys. But I don't think we have anything yet for 20. Well, technically, we probably have 2026 on this list. I imagine Martin, Nelson, Moe, and Mr. Burns for the standard retail waves of 4 is reveal for 2025, in hand 2026, right? And Scratch and Sniff, Hello Nurse, and Ralph T for the retro classified would be a similar kind of vibe. Yeah, so 2025 reveal, 2026 in hand. Airtight Mainframe are clearly missing from the line just now. Yes, Ed. Hit and Run's another one. Yep. Sci-Fi's another one. Yep. Hydro Viper's another one. Yep. Airtight. Yep. 100%. Like all of these are, but I'm saying like you can't Wetsuit. Yes. Lightfoot, of course. I'm biased on that one, but yeah, like I think Lifeline's the other main kind of like the main one as well. But there's loads. But the thing is, we don't have to rush to get them immediately. Like we can spread this stuff out. This line has legs. We're talking 2026 already, for goodness sake. So I think we're good. Repeater, Muskrat. There are so many. After this stream, please head over to Punk Toys for Tots 36-hour stream, currently on hour 28. My goodness, that's incredible. Shout out to is that Punk? That's Punk usually in these in the chats and the comments, isn't it? Yes. What an amazing stream. That is crazy. I feel like I do that myself and just have little pauses in between, but no, that's something next level, that is. And it's Toys for Tots as well, which is even cooler. Frostbite's another shout. Yeah, absolutely. There's so much cool stuff to come. I mean, there's red on this screen, which some of it we just don't know, but there's a lot of it on there we do know, but we know some absolute bangers on the horizon. Quinn, Sneak Peek, yeah, all of these guys, absolutely. There are so many characters in this brand. I genuinely think we've got a decent amount of time left to get it done as well. There's always that's true, Paul. There's always going to be somebody that we don't have yet. Child Brawl's another one, Jeremy. Indeed. Airborne and Alpine for a while. You're right. Doc and Blowtorch. Yep. Now it's Wetsuit and Lifeline. Yeah, and the rest. Iron Grenadier, Destro, Armored Cobra Commander. All of those are great shouts. Astro Viper. I mean, we could just name all of the characters they haven't done yet, and you're looking at another 3 or 4 years of product easily. Oh God, easily. What am I talking about? You're probably talking about 4 or 5 years actually of product with the amount of characters that you could still do, and then of course reintegrating new versions of classic core characters and so on and so forth, different repaints of exclusives and vehicles. This is nuts. And to be honest, did any of us think we'd be looking at 2025 in 2020? Did anyone think 5 years down the line we're going to have this many figures? I don't think anybody did. And now we've got hundreds of figures in the classified series. It ain't going anywhere soon. That's all I'll say on that one. Joey's running out of absolute musts. Targat, Captain Gridiron, Salvo, all good shouts. But I tell you what, a lot of people have said this is all I'm waiting for, and then end up having to dip in on some other figures because they think they're so cool. Recoil, Muskrat, Barrel Roll, good shouts. Anyway, we could be doing this all day, and I'm not going to be doing that. But that is what we're looking at the moment for the updated listings with all the new reveals from today. Now, name only reveals. I've updated that now. I'm getting a little bit more savvy now with the getting my butt in gear with the name only reveals. So Snake Eyes version 4, Retro Flint and Retro Cover Girl for the Joes. Hunt for the Mass Device obviously still is in. I've left that in there because we're probably going to have more of those elements, as we go. I should probably take it down though because we know what it is now. It's a thematic scenario that's going to, carry over a few figures and sets and what have you. Anyway, and then of course for Cobra, of course for Cobra is what I meant to say, not a force. Retro Televiper, Crystal Ball, and Darklon are the Cobra name only reveals that we have at the moment. So sorry, I'm just making sure I'm not missing any comments. Can't believe we're getting Crystal Ball. I'm sure hype for him, said Joey. Yeah, same. So it sounds like Crystal Ball's going to get a slight redesign, maybe, or maybe like he'll look like that. What was it, Hearts and Minds, or in Cobra? No, I think he's been in both, hasn't he? But like, I think in the Cobra series, he looked pretty cool, if I'm right remembering that correctly. He was definitely in Hearts and Minds though as well. But I think they're probably going to do him slightly updated. I wouldn't mind if we just got a standard vintage version. Maybe that in the future on a retro card. If Crystal Ball's cool enough, I think he's going to be cool. I want Crystal Ball so bad. Darklon, ever since I've been reading the Destro comics, which I think I have at hand. Yeah, I do. And especially issue 5. Oh my God. I don't want to spoil anything for anyone, so I'm not going to. But that is a phenomenal part of the issue. There is a phenomenal part of the issue. This is issue 5, isn't it? Maybe it was issue 4. No, it's issue 5. Yeah, it's issue 5. It's amazing. So anyway, I can't wait for Darklon now because of that. I know I'm a bit sad they didn't do his Evader, and I know people are going to say, yeah, but it's blooming, it's an Evader. It's not really that cool, but like I think it's I just like them to hit everything. I just want to see everything in the classified series, honestly. Spearhead and Max is a good shout, Zoran. Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, there's loads of figures that we're probably going to get in the future, so I wouldn't worry too much. You're all going to get what you want at the end of the day. So that's name only reveals, and of course I've updated renders as well. So on the render side, G.I. Joe is leading the battle on the digital renders side at the moment. But you never know, that might change, and 1027 might have some name only, some renders as well. That'd be really cool if they did. That'd be really cool if they did. Like, it'd be nice if they just threw a couple of things in there anyway. They might not though, considering they've just done some reveals, but they might just be kind of, spreading it out a little bit, kind of carefully. But how cool would it be to get digital renders of like Snake Eyes and Crystal Ball and Dark? I mean, that would be pretty cool, wouldn't it? Anyway, that's 1027. And this is what we have so far for renders. So Law and Order, Footloose, Blowtorch, Snake Eyes with Polar Bear, and the Legacy Firefighter. And of course, for the Cobra team, you've got the Claw with Pilot and the Frag Viper currently. Yeah, that's everything. I've done just about an hour, so that's not bad. I'll keep it open a little bit longer if you guys have got any questions that we can kind of talk about. Any other things you guys wanted to mention that I might need to cover, or if anything I've missed. I might have missed something in today's information, but I did watch the panel just in case to get as much info as possible, and I've kind of weaved it in with the information we are already aware of, like the pre-order date and time and everything, and what those particular pre-orders are going to be. So just a quick, what's the word? Just a quick summary, I would say. October 29, 1 p.m. Eastern, pre-order for Heavy Duty, which will be an anywhere item. You can get it all over the place. And a Pulse exclusive Cobra Defense Perimeter. 10/27 looks like they're going to be talking with it's going to be Lenny and Emily, and they're going to be talking with Nemesis Immortal. They're going to be showing off Nemesis Immortal and giving us a bit more information on that. Don't know if that's going to be a pre-order or in-stock order, or if they're going to not bother with that and just tell us when it's going up at some point, you know, in the future. Who knows? But I'm assuming more information will be given in 10/27 with that one. That's pretty much everything. Everything else was details that we've already sort of covered. The name only reveals and everything we just talked about, so that's all good. Paul has a question. Did you get that interview in with Shooting the Galaxy? I mentioned this yesterday on the weekly, I think. I mentioned it anyway, but for obvious reasons this week we couldn't do it because of the whole Hasbro layoff scenario, which was brutal and horrible and gross. But so obviously we had to postpone, but it has been rescheduled for this coming Friday. So we'll do it on Friday and I'll get it up. Kitty said, I'll get that interview with Shooting the Galaxy up on either the weekend or on Monday, the following Monday. So that's that. What else? Wouldn't the Trench Viper be in the digital render page? No, because it's been revealed, it's been released as a it's out there now. I mean, technically, Penny Rooster, yes, but because it's literally going up for pre-order on Tuesday, I took it off. But yeah, because it's sort of like, you know, in the same situation as Heavy Duty. Heavy Duty should be on that side as well, shouldn't he, in the digital renders? But he's already been revealed. So that's why I took him off. I took him off the digital renders because we've seen them now officially. Ed says, Ryan, the pictures they showed were all Mass Device Courtney. So yeah, blonde it is. Oh, okay, was someone asking if it was blonde cover girl? Yes, it's going to be blonde cover girl. Specifically, blonde haired cover girl. You can replace that Mass Device with the Sneak Hint, possibly Ore Striker. Oh yeah, that's true. White, yeah. That's a good point. So on this panel, yeah, maybe I could remove Hunt for the Mass Device and just put Ore Striker on the Maybe we need another one. We need official teases, don't we? We need an official tease section graphic. So maybe I'll do that. And it'll just have that on it because they don't do them very often, do they? Venom says, Chris, did they ever elaborate on how the delay will affect these releases in 2025? They didn't elaborate or talk about the delay that they mentioned at NYCC at all in any way, shape, or form. So no more elaboration on that, and no idea as to how they're affected going forward. But I would imagine just bump everything along a couple of months, basically, is probably what is the case. If they're doing first responders, I could see an easy repaint to make Lifeline in the same way they did Airborne to Halo Jumper. Yes, White, I think that's a good shout, genuinely. I think that's a really good shout. The next one isn't a kind of Lifeline guy. It's not a medic, as it were. I won't say any more than that, but that might give away what the other Legacy listing is. Well, it might not, because there's multiple first responders. But yeah, it's not medic based. Any word on upcoming pre-orders, Jared, other than the 29th? Yeah. So other than the 20, well, so the pre-orders would be the 29th, which would be heavy duty and the Cobra Defense Perimeter. That's Tuesday at 1 p.m. And one is heavy duty is available all over the place, and Cobra Defense Perimeter will be Pulse exclusive. Scott says, what the heck is this page? Yeah, that would be cool. Like a leaks and hints and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, maybe we could do that. That's a good one. They need to speed up these vehicle releases, more mainstream releases, or I'll be dead by the time they finish turtling this line. Well, they're churning some stuff out, man. Like they really are, considering. But like I kind of would like to see, like I look at what we've got now, and we've got Ferret, Hiss Tank, Stinger, HMS, Serpentor's Air Chariot, multiple trouble bubbles. We've got the motorcycles, the Rams, the Night Force 1, the Tiger Force 1, the Ferret, the Tiger Paw. I mean, there's a lot of it. Dragonfly, Rattler, they're doing a lot. But the Vamp, how did I forget the Vamp? Yeah, they're churning out the big stuff as probably best they can, really. But yeah, anyway, I'm happy about the delays. I need to save money, says FC Viper. I think a lot of people do, don't they? Ed, I'm more than cool with one large vehicle a year. The question is, if this is the Ore Striker, what kind of repaint are we going to get? Foe Striker? The FOE Striker is pretty dope. That was one of my favorite Ore Striker updates. And you'd have to do some sort of fun Tiger Force version, I think. I'd love a Tiger Force Ore Striker, even though we haven't really had precedent for it. I think it would be pretty cool. Dragonfly shipping soon, indeed, Scott. We've already technically passed the 2-day, was it 24th? It was, wasn't it, that they were supposed to be kind of getting all that prepared. So yeah, it might be shipping very, very soon. The black one, which is the Black Ore Striker, which is the Ninja Arashikage thing, isn't it? The Arashikage Striker or whatever. They'd probably do that one, like Snake, and have a different Snake Eyes come with it. Ooh, a Ninja Force Snake Eyes with an Arashikage Ore Striker would be mental. But also, yeah, I wouldn't want that, because I want Ninja Force Snake Eyes on a retro card 100%. Especially now that we've got the cheeky hint that they're doing slight differences on the retro cards now with the digital background and everything. Look at how many figures and vehicles they put out yearly back in the day. I mean, yeah, on a smaller line, much easier to do, isn't it? I mean, you're talking 6-inch figures. They're massive. They can make a legacy civilian para educator, model it after me. That'd be cool, Stanley. Speaking of Dragonfly, think it'll ship next week? Oh, almost certainly Toy Bounty Hunter, yeah. Urban Striker would be cool, Zoran, yeah. Eco Force, of course, Penny Rooster. The Eco Striker makes a lot of sense, definitely. Night Force Ore Striker would be cool. Yeah, I think that would be cool, Reelzim. I passed on the Rattler, no regrets yet. I don't know. That's a pretty cool one. Oh yeah, and the version 5 S&M Snake Eyes. Is he that sexy? Is he that S&M-y? Chris, Ninja Force Snake Eyes sold. You're welcome, Ed. Blitz says, large vehicle to me is more a Dragonfly, etc. I like the Smedium and medium releases a few times a year. I like that. It's like a small and medium combination. Black Ore Striker from Real American Hero Collection 2 came with Pathfinder. Yeah, that's pretty dope, Paul. Go for broke, Python Patrol Ore Striker Toy Bounty Hunter. Amazing. Right, I'm going to call it there. Guys, thank you very much for chatting with me, for going through all of the real reveals today. I thought it was way more than I expected. I didn't think we were going to get that much. I thought, like in the past, MCM has sort of been like, here's a couple of pre-orders coming, and here's a couple of name-only reveals. But like now it's definitely like to get a couple of renders and to get a couple of name-only, and to get 3 name-only reveals and promo images of the pre-orders coming up. Like that's next level. Considering we just had NYCC a week ago. Like whatever. Anyway, anywho, it's been a pleasure. Thanks very much for all of you guys in the chat as well. Really appreciate all the interactivity. It's all good. Now, I will be back, as Paul mentioned earlier on, with an interview with Shooting the Galaxy in a week's time. But before that, I will be doing 1027 Reaction tomorrow. And what else? Have I got something else happening? Oh, yeah. We're scheduling an interview with Lenny and Tony again. BMAC. I wanted to do an interview with BMAC, but he is like unavailable until I think almost like next year. So we will be doing BMAC Gross. We will be doing an interview with BMAC at some point. And hopefully he can join us in like a big group as well with Lenny and Tony, and maybe Emily if Emily wants to jump on as well. Either way, we'll try and get everyone on. We'll try and get as many people as we can on to talk about the reveals from the last couple of weeks. And yes, after this stream, head over to A Punk with Toys, Toys for Tots, 36-hour stream. Unbelievable work. That's crazy. And I think that will do it. See you tomorrow, and also Patreon. I'll be doing a live for the patrons as well. Probably following the 1027 reaction. So another back-to-back sort of scenario. Anyway, see you then, guys. Stay fresh, cheese bags. And as always, you know what to do. 1, 2, 3, full force. Laters. That's it for this installment of the Full Force News Burst. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe. See you next time, and as always, full force. Make sure you get involved with the discussion by liking, sharing and commenting on these videos, and as always you can keep up with the show after listening by following on X, formerly Twitter, @The Full Force, liking the Facebook page, facebook.com/The Full Force. We've also added a brand new Instagram, so check us out there as well, @The Full Force Podcast, and if you would like to contact the show you can message us on any of those platforms with feedback and questions. We also have a Patreon page, so if you want to show your support for the show, see your name up in lights on these videos, or enjoy exclusive bonus content, then check out patreon.com/The Full Force Podcast, or click on the link on any of the posts this podcast appears in. Full Force.